big shift in Maharashtra's labour laws is set to touch lakhs of workers. The state government has cleared a new law allowing private sector companies to extend working hours to 10 a day. In fact, 10 hours work day. It's up from the current 9-hour system. Like Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka, the move is being pitched as a way to attract investments and create jobs. Basically, if people are willing to work more business and more work will happen, which a lot of them believe is actually counterproductive. The longer you work, the more fatigued you are and the output is lower. But nonetheless, it's believed here that more working hours might churn out more work. The change comes, of course, with a catch. Beyond 9 hours, employees will be eligible for double overpay time. If that's a motivating factor, and it has to, of course, be done only with consent of the employees. So if the employees are willing to work 10 hours, then they get a double pay, they're eligible for double pay or overtime, basically. Well, for this, the amendments are being made to key legislations, the Maharashtra Shops and Establishments Act 2017 and the Factories Act of 1948. Legislations are being made there. Yet the pushback is strong. IT professionals, particularly in Pune, are asking, what about employees' rights? And that's the question we must ask too here at a time when the world is speaking of work-life balance, of stress and mental health. Why are governments still chasing longer shifts instead of healthier work and life balance? Well, it's not for the employer. Well, we know that we won't see employer thinking of work-life balance, but at least overworking an employee, even if you're paying them extra, do you truly believe that output also comes equally? Shouldn't the focus be on a little more balanced approach in ensuring productivity and well-being of your employees? Well, to put that into perspective, let me quickly bring in our panelists there on whether 10-hour work week will work day will actually bring in better output from employees. Dr. Kiranpreet Kaur, Human Resources Expert and Global Talent Acquisition Strategist. We also have Dr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. Thank you both of you for joining us. Dr. Rajiv Nanda, your take on the labor laws itself, pushing for 10-hour work day, of course, out of employee consent, it says, but it almost looks like once this order is in place, it will be implemented almost by force. It will be expected out of the employees. Now you have a new law that says 10 hours, so you better work. If you don't, we won't give you a promotion. It could come down to that. What's your view?
See, to make an employee work for 9 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever hours it is, there has to be a legislative backing. That is, the central legislation is the Indian Factories Act, which has the permission for the state governments to make the regional amendments, the state-wise amendments, which they are I'm told that the Maharashtra government is going. And then the local act, which is the Shop and Establishment Act, which every state has. They prescribe the working hours. Presently, the working hours have been kept after being considered by a lot of committees and research that 9 hours, initially it used to be 8 hours, then it has come to 9 hours. 9 hours was held to be appropriate for keeping in view the health of the people working, because ultimately it is the work to be done by human beings. They are not machines that they can be made to work for more time. Ultimately, if this is the of course they have the right to do, the state governments have the right to legislate or amend the existing hours, but then it will have its negative impact on the health, mental health as well as physical health. It is impossible for a human being to work, if not impossible, it is very difficult rather for a human being to work for longer hours. There is another point to it, that it may increase unemployment also, because if you need to extract more work from your workers, then the organizations or particular firms or the companies, they have to hire more people. This way they are cutting in the costs and making the employees work for something for which they would have to employ somebody else. Now they are making the same employee work here for longer hours. So this is in a way will be contributory factor for increasing the unemployment also. Now we are not sure because for 9 hours also there was a break prescribed within the stipulated time of working of 9 hours. Now, whether proportionately, if it is made to 10 hours or even longer, whether proportionately the breaks will also increase, we don't know as of now, because there is no clarity as so far as breaks is concerned. Yes, of course. I mean, I will say that
Correct.
yes, of course, they have the
But do you
power to do
welcome
it.
this?
No,
Or,
no, I don't welcome it. This is going to create unemployment, and this is going to adversely affect the health of the
okay.
workers, physical as well as mental health.
Well, health, but they're also offering to pay more if you're working an hour additional.
See, money cannot compensate to your health. Money cannot. And money is not everything.
Correct.
If you have to increase your productivity, you can hire more
Okay.
people.
Maybe
Why you
Dr.
make the
Kiranpreet
same
might be
people
able to
work?
shed light on that. Dr. Kiranpreet Kaur, your HR, do you believe this is going to bring in more stability or productivity into the workforce? People will become more competitive. There's a little more energy that will be infused. It's going to be counterproductive entirely. And we're looking at global economies on the contrary, moving towards shorter work weeks. And here we have Maharashtra going the opposite way.
Thank you so much, Nabila, for asking that wonderful question. I think this legislative move needs to be evaluated, holistically, because from the lens of an employee well-being, it may not be apt. From organizational productivity, again, questionable, and it has to continuously evolve. Basis the nature of the work, it is concerned. From industry standpoint, I think certain sectors, like especially manufacturing, logistics, or service operating, which are high in demand environments, longer days may be beneficial for cost optimization or maybe operational efficiency. But I think that can very much be achieved by putting in some technology in place. India's competitiveness in global manufacturing and services has somewhere been impacted by rigid labor structures. But if it is bringing a lot of flexibility and responsibly is implemented, it can become a tool for progress. But again, question is whether we're measuring productivity through linearly hours, or we're going beyond that. Are we considering the fatigue? Are we considering the safety that can suffer,
Yeah.
or the quality of work? Because progressive companies will need to ensure that increase in working hours is a counterbalance
Yeah.
of mental health flexibility, and they have to provide a supporting infrastructure to it. I'm not sure, on the
Yeah, you've
mandatory
got to have a
rest period here.
counselor, you've got to be, and there shouldn't be comparison. You can't hinge promotion based on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you need to have fair compensation. You need to let people opt out of options if they have personal or caregiving responsibilities. We need to avoid one size fits all kind of an approach. What works for a factory floor may not work for a knowledge
Correct.
worker or a creative professional. So I think it's important that we also,
Correct.
phase in hybrid and flexible models which are reshaping the work life expectations, and any regulatory change that happen, it has to
Yeah.
coexist with
Yeah.
these transformation and not conflict with it. So if the 10-hour day becomes like an average, then a mandate, a rigid mandate, employers might feel exploited. Either that, or can explore a 4-day work week on a rotational shift basis, to preserve their balance. It is how we advocate an employee centric approach. Now,
Okay.
that is something to be seen, because we need a lot of transparency.
Very
We
rightly
need
said.
an intent. We need to ensure that the implementation is on point and people are not
And
made
that's
to work.
the worry here in a country where we aren't sensitive to employees, where we aren't sensitive to women employees, we aren't sensitive to the health of the employees. So many actual problems that we have to address in the country before actually jumping into 10-hour work week. But well, if Maharashtra can do it, then good. But is the environment conducive enough is questionable. But very interesting to hear your thoughts, Dr. Rajiv and Dr. Kiran Preet. I really appreciate you joining us on this.